Hey everyone, long time no see. How are y'all doing? Last time y'all saw my face was last week, and that was when Brie and I had the discussion for The Darkest Place, which was the group read for Laissez Faire Streetcar for Black Halloween. And here I am again today. I haven't had any readings for nothing because literally I'm just now getting better with, I don't know, like it was a cold. Um, You could tell in my voice I'm still going through it, but I'm getting there, y'all. I promise. And then on top of that, I just been working. Um, sorry. Y'all will be seeing more videos from me. I promise. Once I have more energy to do some filming and stuff, that it will be happening. I still have to do my October wrap up, also my November TBR and stuff like that. And I'm also going to do an unhaul. So yeah, so sorry if you haven't seen my face for a while. I'm just now getting over whatever I had for the past week. So I do apologize. Let's see. Hello, hello. Hey D, how are you? Hey Lacey's. But anyway, so we're here to talk about Worthy by Jada Pinkett Smith. Oh, this book. I I didn't like once I finished it. I didn't rate it because I don't necessarily rate memoirs. But if it was a memoir or whatever, I would probably say, hmm, I don't know if I can still. I can't. I don't know if I can still rate it because it's a memoir and it's just a lot was in this book that I had to like take in. Like the first chapter, it literally talks about her depression, and in that chapter, I felt it because not all y'all know, but or maybe some of y'all know, depending on how long y'all been watching me, like from the very beginning. When I first started booktube, like I have gone through depression, and I can't even say have. I still go through it. I still have my moments where I do go through depression. Um, Usually it'll be maybe once or twice a year when I'm really bad. It's really bad. Hey, Gran,
Hi, how are
how
you
are
doing?
you? Good. How are you?
This book is very interesting. Hi, everybody.
Yeah, it is. I was just breaking down like the first chapter when she talks about depression, and I understood that part. Like I get that. Like where you feel like you're alone when you're not alone, like you have a family. But
Hmm.
in these instances where you feel like I don't know if I can go on. I felt that I go through my spells. Uh, I've gone through a lot during my high school years. Like there was a lot of stuff that happened in my life, but
Mm.
regarding my family and stuff that's happening now. And so I feel like that was I feel like her saying being vulnerable. I appreciated that because some people don't want to admit it. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, she's very much a survivor, and I
Mm-hmm.
don't think that she really understood that until she started going through this process.
Yeah.
And they both went through trauma, just a bit different in
Mm-hmm.
some instances.
Yeah.
In
Definitely.
some instances.
As I was reading this, I also was listening or remembering about Will's book and how some of these things in the book align with his.
Hmm.
like, uh, but
Yeah.
yeah, I like that she said she admitted she's not a therapist, but then again, she added these quotes or whatever between each chapter. Um,
Hmm.
I don't know necessarily why she did that, but maybe those I know that I for me I would have rather had her not do that, but
Hmm.
maybe these I mean she did provide sources for other people look up or read about. So I mean I'll give her credit for that because there are others that may thought of
That
those
would not have done that.
right like or thought of
Mhm.
quotes that probably would help them in the future, but I necessarily wouldn't I didn't really like them in there in my opinion.
Yeah,
uh,
I just thought that each quote served the purpose of the chapter, what she learned in that chapter.
Yeah.
And that's why she put that in, because a couple of them made me think.
Yeah, which that's why I said like for others, it might be helpful for other people. So like there was a
Hmm.
I liked personally, and I had marked them down because I'm like, oh, this is actually pretty nice. Um,
Hmm.
but I liked her vulnerability, I guess, because it seems like she never liked to be vulnerable. Like it seemed like she,
Yes.
um, so I mean, just for somebody bring out their memoir, they're brave. They're brave. So,
Hmm.
I'm not going to mention the one I read at the beginning of the year because that was something different. That was just I don't know what that was. Like,
But I'm so glad that I read this, because if I listen to, um, I mean, yes, I pre-ordered it, but if I had listened to all this bad press, and I put that in air quotation marks,
mm-hmm,
of things about her book, then I might have missed out, because I am actually enjoying this book, and I am thinking about them together, even though uh, their memos are separate. I'm thinking about different things that they said that kind of correlate,
mm-hmm.
and definitely they ignored a lot of things
Oh,
dealing with dealing with themselves. I mean, even early on before she became pregnant, just
right,
different things that they both ignored. Um,
mm-hmm,
but as she says, come out later on.
right. It
And I'm
does.
sure there's a lot of people that can relate to that, because you're in the euphoria of, you know, what you think is a fantastic relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're like, oh, I'll just ignore this, or, I didn't think about this. But in hindsight, you're like, we should have addressed this earlier.
Yeah, and I mean, when you're young, you don't think it's a problem until later on in life,
Hmm.
or you think like, oh, it's something small, I could fix it later and push it aside. When really, it
Hmm.
makes it worse the longer you don't address it. Um, and that for their relationship, I think there was a lot of things they didn't really address. Well, from her point of view, she addressed a lot of things to him, but he sort of brushed it aside. It seemed like he ignored it. Um,
Yeah, I think actually he's the king of ignoring it. And that is another reason why the slap happened.
yeah, yeah,
You keep on putting things to the left, so to speak, and they pop out in different ways, or
yeah,
pop up in different ways, because you haven't addressed them.
yeah. That's true. I don't know. I liked the mentioning of her grandmother. It seemed like her grandmother was just the key to pretty much how she is, pretty much.
Hmm.
Which
Hmm.
that because I pretty much was raised by my grandmother, and she had ingrained in me stuff that I still do today.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
so I mean, I do like that. I mean, it's sad that she talked about her mom and her dad.
Ooh.
It was a lot that she unpacked, and I know when her mom read,
Ooh.
her mom had to like look at herself, like look in the mirror.
And she said in the interview that I saw in person, and I think there was one that I saw online, that she said that she had her mother read what she wrote about her. So I'm like, there's probably some things that she didn't add,
Hmm.
but and her mother felt bad about that, but approved it,
Right.
because her mother never tried to hide the fact that she was a recovering addict.
Yeah.
Because the press is always looking for bad things when it comes to, once you become famous, they're looking for stuff. But she never tried to hide that.
Hmm.
But to actually read about what she chose to share, and I'm still saying that because I know there's got to be more.
Oh,
Um,
yeah. I feel like
and to me that was enough, because what really hurt me is she and the after Adrian, spelled the same way that I spelled my name,
yeah.
and her and the stepfather split. And the stepfather said, I'm still going to be around you. I'm still going to be your father. And the woman that he was with, I
Mm,
was like, nobody checked her except for, what was it, the grandmother or the aunt
I think, yeah,
that
it was,
checked her, but they should have checked him too.
yeah,
Don't promise this child XYZ and you don't live up to it.
right.
And she says part of the reasons why she didn't trust men was because of how he acted and that how her biological father acted. I
Yeah,
was like, ooh.
yeah. It seemed like a lot was happening, and then you think of like all like the cycles repeating itself, like of her grandmother was a foster kid, and now
Mm-hmm.
she got pregnant, going through
Mm-hmm.
rejection from family, um, and then Jada's mother goes through that same process and gets pregnant with Jada.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I wish Jada realized that she was also repeating the cycle.
Mm-hmm. But she said when I went to see her, when she did the book signing, she
Hmm.
said that her mother did not realize the generational trauma until she read the book and she saw it in black and white about the grandmothers and herself. And she said, "Oh my God, she never connected it." And I
Yeah.
was like, "Well, I could see at least she saw it then, and she had an aha moment."
Yeah. That's another thing I feel like, because like with my family, like my grandfather, he was in the Air Force, and
Mm-hmm.
he was alcoholic, and he was abusing my grandmother, and then also abusing my mom. And
Mm-hmm.
she was the first one out of four kids,
Mm-hmm.
so she saw that firsthand of her mother being abused, and then her father
Mm-hmm.
beating her up, which I don't
Mm-hmm.
really talk to my grandfather. I can't. Like, even when I was a
Mm-hmm.
kid, I just felt a presence. I felt something, and I just didn't want to be near him.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and my sister doesn't really talk much about it, but it seemed like my mom, from her experiences, she was trying to put that, towards my sister, and my sister and her don't have a good relationship. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I talked to my mom about it because she did things to me as well, not just physically,
Mm-hmm.
but mentally.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, Mom, do you realize that you were repeating the cycle? And she's like, What cycle?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, dealing with trauma of seeing your father abuse not only you, but your mom. And she's like, I didn't, and you trickled it down to me and my sister. And she was quiet. She was really quiet about it. Um, she cried too, because I think that
Mm-hmm.
was when she finally realized that she was repeating the cycle, because somebody had to tell her, because she couldn't
Mm-hmm.
really see it
She
until
couldn't
somebody.
see it. Yeah.
And for Jada's mom, I it's sad where she had to read it from her daughter's book, but I'm glad
Mm-hmm.
she now knows, So I don't know. The first couple chapters were deep. I will say, I was
Very revealing.
right, very. Let's see. Jira said, I enjoyed Worthy. I don't know why this book is getting bad press. It was very well written. I enjoyed it. I also listened to the
Mm-hmm.
audio.
Yeah, I'm doing both. I'm not quite finished, but majority of it I'm done. Majority.
Like,
I'm in it now. Um she's had her first child, and you know talking
yeah.
about how she's raising him. So yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. Like, I think it was pretty good. I can't say it was bad. I feel like you have to read it with an open mind. I know a lot of people were hate.
Hmm.
I get it. I get it. But read it with an open mind about it without being biased. I know that's really hard. I know. But I enjoyed it. Agree. Yeah, very well written.
Yeah.
I think Jada gets bad press, so many people are dumping on her story altogether. Yeah, because I feel like people are doing that because they already, it's like, Team Will or Team Jada, and people are already on the Team Will train without like giving her a chance, you know. Um, she reveals a lot of stuff towards the end of the book regarding her entanglement, which she doesn't say August Alsina's name or whatever, because I feel like she would have gotten in trouble.
Well, she
But
says in the beginning of the audiobook that some people's names have been changed.
yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
she puts him as an entanglee, and and she made it clear that he was not Jaden's friend or best friend or whatever.
Mm.
I thought they were, but I don't know.
Mhm.
A lot of people, there's a lot of speculation out there saying that some of the stuff Jada lied about, like her um, selling drugs or whatever. I mean, anybody has, if you want money that bad, I feel like anybody has the will and power to do that. I don't
Mhm.
care who you are. I think anybody could do it necessarily. I can't say that she was lying. I don't know nothing about it. Never sold drugs, so I don't know the first thing. Um,
Mm-mm.
like Keanu also read it with me, and he actually enjoyed the book too. And he actually, when my friends and I and him were having a discussion about it, and pretty much bashing Jada, and he was like, "Well, no, you can't really say that. You haven't even read her book yet." He was like, his whole like aspect of Jada has completely changed since he read her book.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah. It's like what she was saying. She said, "Those that have actually read my book."
mhm.
Mhm.
I love those books. I'll read Worthy as well. Yes, definitely read it. You'll walk away with a better understanding. Yes, that's
Yes,
exactly.
I
You
agree.
will have a
And I'm
better.
not even finished yet. Yeah, I literally have like this much left over. And yes, I'm fully invested.
Yeah.
This is not getting a 2-star rating from me. And I do rate memoirs. I know some people don't. I do.
Yeah. And then let me see. I'm trying to think. And then we get to Tupac and her. And
Oh, that was very interesting.
you could tell like they were friends and they tried like to be together. It
Hmm.
wasn't it. They were just like brother and sister. It was like a brotherly and sisterly
They
bond.
were very, very, very good friends.
Right.
But it definitely is a hole in her heart that they didn't reconcile before. I like the point that she makes saying, um, what was it? Don't walk away angry and say you're not going to be the person that's going to cave or something like that.
Hmm.
Because, that might be the last conversation you have with someone. I'm like,
Yeah. I
it's
mean, I'm
true.
sure she's gonna live through that for the rest of her life. I mean,
Hmm.
um, she literally didn't talk to him for a year. That's a long time.
It's a long time.
But he was also going through a lot of stuff because I was researching, with Suge Knight and all that. And usually when you deal with Suge Knight, it's just that's a
Mm,
flag. Uh,
that whole thing.
yeah, like Suge Knight, he's a dangerous person. Like still to this,
Didn't he deliver the ashes to her
did he?
with a smile?
I don't know. I don't. She didn't say that in her book. She didn't mention anything about that in her book about
Hold on,
Ashley.
I gotta find it. I gotta find it because I thought that's what she said.
But I know she didn't like Suge Knight and his vibe, his aura. She didn't like nothing
Mm-mm.
about him, which just knowing facts about him, I would be scared. I would not even want to be in the same room with him.
Yeah.
There's speculations that he's the one that gave Easy AIDS by because Dr. Dre was trying to get away from uh, his deal, and Easy didn't want him to leave. He didn't allow it. So from what I've heard or research, Suge Knight pretty much was beat him up and then injected him with blood. Like So I don't know. Those are just theories, necessarily conspiracy, but people feel that way. That Suge Knight had something to do with Eazy-E. Um,
Yeah.
and Suge Knight, I don't know why Tupac did that though. Um, it seemed like he was on the, I can't say he was on the wrong path or whatever, but I just wonder why. I guess he didn't trust nobody, and he felt like to get what he needed done, he needed to go towards or to Suge Knight and reach out to him. I don't know. I just it was just crazy, because I remember people talking about it, how Tupac survived the first time he got shot, and how he's
Yeah.
just bulletproof. And then next thing you know, it happens again, he's gone. But people also feel like he's still alive as well. But I don't know. But for them just to talk to each other like brother and sister, um, I thought that was pretty neat. I mean, I didn't look at it like they were in a relationship or they were in some type of romance together at all.
So on page 223, she said Pac was dead and Suge handed me his ashes in a little cardboard box like it was just another effing day. No, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry for your loss. Nothing. I felt helpless and I hated myself for my helplessness. I hated that I had no way to get even, take revenge, confront Suge, find the joker who pulled the trigger, make somebody effing pay.
Oh, okay, I see that now. I missed that. I missed that.
I was like, damn.
Do y'all believe Suge Knight is the one that killed him or took part in it?
I always thought that he did.
I I think he did. He necessarily didn't pull.
He's very scary dude.
Yeah, I necessarily think he didn't pull the trigger, but I feel like he paid somebody
No.
to do it.
Yep. To do his dirty work, yes.
Because even with the person O'Keefe, whatever his name is, Suge Knight said that you got. He said it was on an interview. He said you got the wrong dude, but I'm not going to tell you who it was that actually killed Tupac.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, what? I don't know. I don't know. That was just, yeah. Suge Knight was just bad news, y'all. Bad news. See,
Yeah.
let me get through the comments here. Hey Pat, how are you?
Hi, Pat.
I know. Hey Kendra. Um, I think her book might actually help someone considering suicide. I believe Jada had only good intentions when she wrote her book.
Oh, her girlfriend. I was. Oh,
Yeah, her
oh
girl.
my god. I was like, I did not see that comment. I was like, oh my
I
god,
got very emotional.
horrible,
I got emotional. I got really emotional about it. I ain't gonna lie to y'all.
horrible.
Um, and then in my head, like reading through this, it's like you never know when it's someone's last moment. You never know if
Yep.
that's gonna be the last moment you're gonna be with this person or get to talk to this person, regardless of differences you may have had. Brush it aside if you can, and just move on. Even if it's just to say hello or hi or I hope you're having a good day.
Yeah.
I will take that. I think about that a lot nowadays because just so much is happening. Um,
Life is very short.
right, right, right. So I can
As I continue to add tabs to my, I don't think you can see it,
add.
to my book.
I added so much, and then I also added like post stamps, like post-its on it.
I wrote in it because I was like, how do you pronounce that? So when she said it, I just wrote it out. And I don't normally write in books.
Yeah, me either. But I like this one. I had to write.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say that I felt Jay's book was much more sincere than Will's. Yeah, I think with Will's, he was more like he is in real life. He always jokes. He
Mm-hmm.
jokes as he
And she
feels.
talks about it in here. That's his defense mechanism.
Yeah, like that's
Mm-hmm.
his way of trying to get over stuff. Like if somebody, it was on one of his shows or whatever that they had featured where they went skydiving in Dubai, and I think it was
Mhm.
his father-in-law or somebody that's close to Jada, I think, or maybe I don't remember. He had a stroke while going down,
Oh, wow.
and when it happened, Will was making jokes or whatever, and you could just tell like that's his way of coping. I know that
Mhm.
a lot of people don't look at it like, dang, why are you joking? Like, this is serious.
Mhm.
That was his way. I mean, even as a kid,
Mhm.
just growing up, I mean, that was
Mhm.
coping mechanism.
Yeah.
And with Jada, she necessarily didn't have anything to cope. Like, she didn't have any coping skills yet. Like any type of, from what I read, I can't think
She
of
just
it.
always felt like she had to fight.
Yeah, yeah. Like Like I liked her, like she went out there to go to LA and act and all that. I thought that was cool.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know. It's just when she talks about meeting Will and stuff like that, I'm like, were y'all really meant to be? like,
But
uh,
when he called her the first time and her mother was there and she said, "Isn't he married? Why
she's
is
like,
he calling you?" And I was like, Adrian was on it. She
mm,
was on it. She was
right,
like, he shouldn't be calling you if he's still married. And she repeated
mm-hmm,
what she said, and he said, "She's right. I'll talk to you later." And she did not hear from him again for a year. I was like, wow.
yes, mm-mm-mm. Yeah, sorry,
But
y'all.
I think that conversation that they had got him, just like she was impressed with his, with um his knowledge. He was impressed with her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. It just they were so different. But differences and opposites they attract. Um, and this was like I remember when he was just got a divorce or whatever. It was like a week later he contacted Jada again. I'm like
Hmm.
that was fast.
Yeah,
In my head, I'm like Jada,
and
we're
basically said we're in a relationship.
right. Like that is
And
bold.
he said that in his book too, and I was like, yeah, I've heard this story before.
Yeah, it makes you and just from reading her book, he's controlling. Like
Hmm.
like he's a little bit controlling. I'm not. It was just very
But
bold.
she thought that was sexy too.
Yeah, I know. I don't.
She thought that was sexy too. So she didn't call him on it.
Yeah, she probably wished she did.
Hmm. She didn't
I
call
wish
him on it.
I would have. Oh man. But I also like it talks about like when she was in Hollywood or the colorism and stuff like that. When they kept asking her like,
Hmm.
"What are you mixed with? Is your mother?"
Hmm.
I'm like, "What?" And Hollywood
Hmm.
is like. I feel like they're still like that. I feel like they could be prejudiced depending on
A
the.
lot of places, a lot of
Yeah,
places like that. Some places will ask, and some places won't.
right. And I'm like, this is insane. I'm like, yep, I knew that was gonna pop up. But I also like that she did a lot of initiatives where she was always like helping. She like black authors. Like she visited, black owned business.
Hmm.
But like I did not necessarily know that. Like
Hmm.
she's always pro black. Like bookstores, black authors, black art.
Yeah.
I I like that about her. And I also
And
like that
she was an activist young.
right. And I also
Hmm.
that she kept mentioning Prince. I'm like, oh, you know what, Jada, we might
Uh
be
huh.
friends just for a little bit because I love myself some Prince.
I loved him. Hmm.
But I like that she mentioned like all the other actresses and stuff that she met, um, like Queen Latifah, Ari Parker,
Hmm.
Tanisha Arnold, Elise Neal, Holly Berry, Regina King, Tamala Jones, Nia Long, and all that. It's just I know from one of the women I think they mentioned they went through a lot of dealt with colorism. Um, and she said that they were all cool, and I was like, "Is that really true? Well, all y'all because y'all were still competing against each other."
she said they would see each other on the audition circuit, and when Halle Berry won the Oscar, she mentioned them. I remember that
Yeah, Monsters Ball.
she did mention
Mm-hmm.
mention their names.
Yeah. She's like, there were no beef, it was all love. I'm like, there might have been a little bit. Just a little bit, maybe. And that's okay.
Hmm.
I mean, you could you're human. You're gonna be hating just a little bit. You still
Hmm.
support, which I still appreciated Jada for, because she could just been a complete hater and just like, you know what, F Holly, all that stuff, but she didn't.
Hmm.
But I felt like a lot of the stuff that she was advocating for, I feel like Tupac also helped her with that as well, because he was also advocate for Black people. Um, and I don't know, it just seemed like Will, he, I guess he advocates for Black people. Like I
Hmm.
not probably not like at in a Tupac sense or Jada, like what Jada did.
Yeah, I would say he does it in different ways.
Yeah, but not like that. I haven't seen that anyways from him. I know he's broke down like,
So they would be both of them because of their backgrounds, especially him being the son of a former Black Panther, that they were more um, on the ground, so to speak, activists,
mm-hmm,
whereas there are people who are activists behind the scenes,
mm-hmm,
which I think is more Will Smith's speed, which he might be a little bit more upfront now because of who he's married to, but that is not what he is known for.
mm-hmm.
And that's okay because you need people to be on both sides.
Right. You do. You do. I just felt like with Tupac, he probably felt like the world was against him at one point. Um,
Hmm.
which I feel like everyone can go through that when everybody is just against you, nobody's for you, who can you trust?
Well,
Um,
he was somebody who needed to go through therapy too.
yeah, yeah. That's another thing. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Maybe he did. Maybe he did. Maybe he talked to somebody. It might have been not a therapist, but maybe he felt like he talked to somebody,
Hmm.
thought that he could deal with it because he was going through something too.
Hmm. Well, he had a similar traumatic childhood
Hmm.
as she did, which is why they got along so well.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I Puffy.
But he was poor. He was poorer than her, and
Hmm.
then she got her white boyfriend to have him live with them.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Hmm. And then
I
that
was like, oh.
they didn't. It
Hmm.
wasn't working out. She
Hmm.
tried, but she said, "Nah, I can't
Hmm.
be with a black."
Yeah.
She tried though, but Jira, like, yeah, a lot of people feel it's Puffy. I feel like that, like, that with Biggie as well. I'm just saying, but who knows?
Mm.
Who knows? I always thought Suge was sexy. Stop talking about my man. I love a thug or a nerd. I usually end up dating someone for 20.
Mm-mm.
Oh my.
I always thought he was scary.
Yeah, he used to seem very scary and intimidating.
Mm-mm.
Hey, Bree.
Hey.
She was really willing to take the L time and time again too. Yeah, like starting from when they got married, she did. She said she didn't want to get married. She wasn't into commitment, and
Well,
it
she
might.
didn't think that she could make it work because of the examples that she had.
Mm,
Not really, um, and she didn't really consider her grandparents' relationships as being successful. Successful.
mm-hmm.
because
Right.
she saw instances of them not being successful, and so she didn't think that she didn't think that that was a part of her destiny to have a successful marriage, so she
Right.
never wanted to get married.
Right. And now that I'm looking at this one page where I mentioned her coping, she necessarily didn't cope, but she found ways to make herself feel good, and that was because she wanted to have sex all the time, some type of addiction.
Mm-hmm.
Which in Will's book,
Mm-hmm.
he kept having sex with her time and time again. Like that was
Mm-hmm.
his thing when they were first dating, and it
She
makes sense.
found out about Tupac's death. They had sex. I'm like, what? You're supposed to be
That was
grieving, but she didn't know how to grieve either. She said that
yeah,
she didn't know how to grieve.
yeah. Mm-mm-mm.
I was
She
like,
like,
wait a minute.
like she says it here. Now I never consider myself an addict of any kind, but that's just a classic case of denial. Yeah, you
Mm-hmm.
sexually like you sex addict.
Yeah.
Like definitely hands down. That was
Mm-hmm.
evident. But
The relationship that she began to have in terms of respect between she and Easy E, I thought was interesting because I never heard about that.
me
And it
neither.
started from when they were on a panel together,
Mm-hmm.
and she took him to task for the lyrics that he had, and then he invited her to some things that he was doing in the neighborhood
Mm-hmm.
that were positive, and she thought he was kidding and he was serious, and she's like, "Okay, I'll take you up on it." And she was like, it turned out they had a lifelong friendship after that.
Right. And I did not know that. I
Didn't know
had
it either.
no
Didn't
idea
know it either.
about
Hmm.
that. But,
Here he is on his deathbed, and he calls her,
mm-hmm.
hearing that she is the director in the next, what's it, Dr. Dre video,
Mm-hmm.
and he tells her, "I don't think that it's safe for you to be there because of Shook." I'm like, man, that man was on his way out, and he still picked up the phone and called her.
Yeah. Yeah. I know when all that was happening, it was just sad. Everybody was just going through it. Her and MC Light are for real.
Yeah,
Yes. MC
I
Light
didn't know that either. I
placed
did
them.
not know that.
Oh, she's like, sis, you gotta get together.
I
Like,
know. Taking you back to the house because you too drunk. You.
oh man. Mm-mm-mm.
Mhm.
Get together, girl. Um, and then I was trying to figure out her first relationship that she calls him Lance. Who is she? I don't
Mhm.
understand this man. Like I don't.
He was jealous of Tupac.
Right, he was definitely jealous, very abusive.
Mhm.
And I'm like, who is this Lance? I'm like, Jesus, girl.
Mhm.
I'm glad she got out of it though. But ugh,
Yeah.
that was not
Mhm.
that at all.
No, could have been a very. I mean, she escaped a few different scenarios. She almost got killed a couple of times because of the drug dealing she was doing.
Yeah, that's true.
She was taught to use a gun and never used a gun to
Hmm.
defend herself, and she could have.
Yeah, felt saddened that she and Tupac don't speak in terms of the time of his death. It explains why she talks about him so much. Yeah,
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 that's a lot of regret there.
right. I mean, I would be, you know. They say some people have sex just to feel something. Yeah,
And that's what she said.
yeah,
That's what she said. Because
yeah.
for you to have sex after you hear that your best friend was killed is just bananas to me.
Hmm.
But I'm not in that same headspace. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't know that she was directing a lot that back then. I did not know that at all
Hmm.
about her career.
Yeah, because they don't often tell you who are the directors of music videos
Hmm.
for you to know just how large someone's catalog is. But I was like, oh, she did that. She did that. Okay.
She explains her addiction to sex was to feeling something other than the pain of her life. It was escapism. Yeah. Oh, Wesley Snipes?
Well,
Lance was Wesley Snipes?
I I heard that
Huh.
that was the
Or Wesley. Mhm.
I heard that was the one with Halle Berry, and that's why she's deaf in one ear. But I distinctly remember him saying it wasn't him
Feel like I
because
hate.
she dated him too, but she also dated David Justice, who I know was abusive because they did. I did read that he was a person that was abusive with Halle Berry.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the second time I'm seeing Wesley Snipes come up. But I remember him saying, in terms of Halle Berry, he did not hit her.
I have to. I gotta do some research.
I mean, this was years ago.
Yeah.
Years ago.
I feel like the internet now has progressed. There might be something. I mean,
Hmm.
there might be something,
Hmm.
especially
The
people.
internet was not what it is now.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Right.
you know,
Right. Oh.
yeah.
It made sense that she was directing a lot because she was not well liked in Hollywood. Yeah, I felt bad for her in that regard. She was too hard for Hollywood. Yeah, they didn't like her. You know, they didn't like her at all.
She
They
was
were
too rough around the edges.
yeah. But, I mean, eventually she found her way. It's just she was in a lot of hood movies. You know,
Hmm.
Menace to Society. Uh, what was it? Lyric? I forget. Jason's Lyric.
Jason's Lyric.
Uh,
Hmm.
Set It Off. Um,
Hmm. She talked about how people thought that she was gay
yeah, that too. Hmm.
and explained it,
Right.
why she thinks that that was the case. And I was like, oh, I heard that about you a long time ago. Long time ago. I used to hear about her, and supposedly she and Latifah would go to gay clubs, but you know,
Hmm.
I wasn't there, so I don't know. But I would hear about that. So, and I'm like, how y'all know this stuff? I'm
Yeah.
like, it's not on in anything. They're like, oh, I heard from this person. I heard from that person. I'm like, who is that person?
She did get a role in Nutty Professor, which I like that with Eddie Murphy.
Hmm.
She, I mean, she was in Matrix or whatever. I can't think of a lot of movies.
But she only did the Matrix because he pushed her to do it. That
That,
was not, and I had read that long time ago that
yeah.
it was not something that she would have looked for because she wasn't into the blockbuster stuff like he definitely is. And he was like, "Come on, I want you to not get more popular, but to be more popular, essentially." But that's not the words that he was using,
I don't think
and that's why she went for that.
he never listened to her of what she wanted.
She wanted.
Talk about remember like in Will's book where he talks about her birthday and how she seemed this and that and unappreciative.
Ooh,
We hear
yeah.
we see her side where she said she never wanted a birthday to begin with because she just couldn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
And he
Mm-hmm.
still did it and said like, oh well, all the stuff is made, we can't cancel. I'm like, who gives a fuck if it's 2 days from then? You better cancel it. Like, why would you?
And I mean, it wasn't like it was a party. It was like a whole weekend. I think
Right,
it
a
was that was
whole
a bit
day.
much.
Right.
Yeah, it was a whole event.
And she didn't want that. And just from reading her book, she wasn't that type of person. She was like a homebody
Hmm.
to be all around people like that.
Really, really opposites attract,
Right. Mm-hmm.
but
And
they have some similarities though.
that is true. That is true. Like when she was supposed to take the Prozac, and then
Oh yeah,
and
and she
then
was fighting that. She didn't want to. She didn't want to take it, but the doctor was like, "Do it for a certain period of time because you need to."
yeah, but then
Oh,
Will,
good. Courtney's in here because I know Courtney read the book.
yeah. Hey, Courtney. We hear
Hi,
check.
Courtney.
Let's see. But she walked away loving her role in Matrix. I love Matrix. I love Matrix too. The last Matrix, I don't know what they were doing. I don't think
Yeah,
that one was like a money grab. That was not it.
yeah.
All the other ones I love.
Mm-hmm.
Black women seem to be blamed a lot. We aren't as protected as we should be. Yes, but she acknowledges
She
that.
talked about that too when we were in person. She talked about that.
Yeah.
She said a man can, talk about his woman and defend her and other things, but if a woman does it, then she's looked at negatively.
Yeah, like I remember, I think she was talking to Easy about his, or was it Tupac? I think it was Tupac, where she's like, "So you think it's okay for calling, women and black women bitches? Like you think that's
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she was saying that to Easy.
was it Tupac or Easy?
It was easy.
Oh, okay, yeah, and
It
yeah.
was easy because she was on a panel with him.
Oh yeah, for the
Was it a BET panel or something like that? She was,
yeah,
yeah. She was like, okay. She knew before she got on the panel what she was going to ask him,
yeah.
and she did.
She had a valid
She
point.
did.
She had a valid point. You're an advocate for this and this and
Yep.
this, but then you do this. You're contradicting yourself, bro.
But she did talk to Tupac about it, I think, too, and he said, "But I'm not talking to you." She said, "So other women are bitches."
Yes, yeah,
Explain that to me.
yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think they made each other think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
I agree. I agree. Um, now I want to binge The Matrix. Oh my god, The Matrix is really good though. The Matrix is
yeah,
binge.
it's
I have to.
classic.
hmm
Classic.
Unpacking and running around, but I'm here. Okay. I love Jada. I love Jada how she expressed that men and women double standard. Yes,
Yes.
yes, that's true. I love that she called him out like that. It was both Tupac and Eve. Yeah. Because I mean, who's gonna have these discussions? It seemed like nobody else was. No
Mm-hmm.
one else was. Anytime a
And
black.
the conversations that she and Cherie had, which I had, seen them talk about on the Red Table Talk,
hmm
um, but her writing about it, I was like, it's interesting. It had to be hard on all of their parts.
Right, her and Cherie, I like from the book. It seemed like their relationship was very rocky,
Mm-hmm.
and Will had to be like, "This is my son's mother. You still gotta respect her."
Mm-hmm. And she
And,
talked about how she was jealous because he was on the phone with the grandmother
hmm
and her reaction and how he said, I'm not talking to you about this and completely ignored her. And then
hmm
she jumped off of the roof into,
Love you, Will.
I'm like, you could have killed yourself.
Right, and he did it like right then and there. I'm thinking something wrong.
Mm-hmm.
She's also drunk.
But that was the basis of their relationship though,
Yeah, yeah.
because he fell in line right after that. She got the reaction that she wanted.
hmm Yeah, she did the whole. He hugged her and telling her, "You're crazy, Jada," and all this other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
Jira, I agree with this wholeheartedly.
hmm Loud, aggressive, and
So I'm just gonna say, as a person who was elected to a position, a few years ago, as the first African American who just happens to be a woman. When certain things happened, I was always cognizant of the fact that I was the first one, and second, that I was a woman, because I was like, I don't want to look, and I was constantly saying to myself and then my girlfriends, I'm like, my first reaction, I can't have. I
hmm
have to tame it down because I'm going to be seen as an angry black woman. And I said, and people are going to remember that. And then those who should be eligible to come into the role that I have right now are not because of that.
yeah,
Should I have felt that way? No, but that's the reality.
yeah. So, question, y'all: how would you feel if your boyfriend was introducing you to his grandmother for the first time, and when you walk in, you see yourself on TV naked from a movie that you were in. How would you feel? Like this would, and that would literally like be the first impression. Like Will mentions this
Yeah.
in his book too, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, well, that was not funny.
Nothing about that was funny. I'm like, there's something wrong with you that you think that that's funny.
Like, like,
I don't know how you thought that was funny.
like his
And she
grandmother,
said, we're still trying to figure out whether or not that's funny. I said, there's nothing to figure out. There's nothing funny about it.
because she could have just not liked you from then. Like she
Mm.
could have just like, nope. Mm-mm.
I mean, for some reason, she just chose to just go with it, go with the flow. But I just there was nothing funny about that. I mean, embarrassment does not even begin to
Yeah.
touch how I would feel about that. Yes, I did do it, but that doesn't mean that I wanted my boyfriend's grandmother to have the scene in front of me in the same room.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was all bad.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
like.
she could have watched it without me knowing.
Mhm. Right, right.
Yeah. Hmm.
Bro, I'm always conscious of how I move. Mm.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. That's it. That's it. And I don't think any other people have to deal with that. You constantly have to be cautious of how you move, and it can be exhausting. It truly can.
Mm. I understand. Like, I necessarily wasn't like the first black person ever like in certain areas, but like where I work at, like Barnes and Noble, for instance, I'm besides my boss, which she's rarely seen, so I'm always out in the public with people all the time. Like,
Hmm.
black person who works there because my boss is always in the back, so they don't see her. So
Hmm.
it, these conversations that sometimes my coworkers have, it gets very uncomfortable.
Hmm.
Very uncomfortable. Like saying that, I don't see color, I see people, I see the person. I'm like, you
You're lying.
realize what you said?
You're lying. There's no way.
And I'm like, I
There's
can't.
absolutely no way.
There's not a lot of time to educate you on this. Like, there's just not. I'm like,
There's no way. And why is there a thought that seeing color is a problem?
right. Yeah, it was all bad. All bad. That was a horrible joke Will pulled on her. It was bad. Just like in Celic, our group back, and Angela was in Holy Jeans when she met young dude's mom. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah. You don't do that. You don't do that at all. But
Hmm.
I guess from then on, they were establishing this friendship, and she considered him like her savior. Like she says, and in some ways, I clung to romanticism and my desire for Will to be my savior prince, a classic setup for us both.
Hmm. And that's a problem. That's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah. And from then on, it just seems like the relationship was just a lot taken in. She gets pregnant with Jaden. She didn't want to get married, and even if she got one, if even if she did get married, she said she didn't want a traditional wedding. If that didn't happen,
Ooh.
like, and that's what she told Will this. It didn't happen.
But Adrian stepped in and
Yeah.
convinced him.
Mhm. So it was just, I wonder what the relationship would be like if they didn't get married, until like maybe after Jaden was born or whatever. Like,
Mhm.
would it have been different? I don't know.
But that whole conversation about having a prenup, that could have gone left.
Oh yeah.
That could have gone left. Now, when I say it could have gone left, it could have gone left beforehand, but it also could have gone left afterwards when they did have issues because um, she stuck to the vows that they talked about. She could have been like, you know what, I'm still gonna get a divorce.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then his friends would have been like, we told you to
Mm-hmm.
protect yourself.
Right.
And she would have been like, I want everything. Duh. So he took a gamble.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a gamble. um, but yeah, it just seemed like their relationship was just they were going through it. They were going through it. And I think
Mhm.
slowly when she was having, she had Jaden, then she had Willow, it seemed like things started to dissolve with them. I don't know. And then I like the whole when she reveals that they've been separated since what 2016. I was shocked. I'm like, wait, what? But
Yeah, I
maybe
didn't get to that yet, but you're not spoiling anything for me because
because
I will still read it. But that's definitely the only thing that people kept on talking about. I'm like, surely there's some other reveals in the book.
oh yeah, there is a lot, and the stuff that she's not like she's stated in her book, like I feel bad, like this is for me too, just for me because I was looking at her like, you what is wrong with you from the slap into the entanglement and having it on red table, I honestly I wrote sorry like like in my head like I was saying sorry Jada, I'm so sorry because I'm one of the people that looked at you a certain way because of what the media was showing me,
Hmm.
and I wasn't cognizant, I wasn't aware like the media is going to make it look like you are the villain, like it's not both two people who are supposed to be together, right? It
Hmm.
it made her look like the bad guy, and
Yeah,
like, oh, man, I'm
it takes two to tango.
right. And I was like, even when Keanu was in the back, and I was like reading it and listening to it, I was like, I'm sorry, Jada. I am so sorry that I'm one of the people that did this. Just from reading this
Yeah.
book, I appreciate you for this. I appreciate, it probably you didn't feel it was your time to say all this stuff about what truly went down, about Will actually knowing stuff but making it seem like he didn't. like like I just feel so bad for that, and I just hope that with this book, sometimes she might have wanted this book because it was a part of healing for her.
Hmm.
It's like when
Yeah,
people
I'm very glad that I ignored, and I really have been reading this book as with an open mind.
hmm
So I'm
yeah,
like, ooh.
wedding dress was hideous. Oh my god. Yeah, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, and I liked Bagley Miska gowns, but I just thought that it was too heavy for her frame because she's so petite.
Mhm.
So I always thought that that dress was too heavy for her.
Yeah.
And even knowing that she was pregnant, she wasn't really showing then. So
Mm-mm.
I don't know why you had to have something that, and I mean, what was it? Velour is heavy anyway.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Doesn't strike me as the type to demand any money from him if they got that. Right. She would have said like, fine, go ahead. She was already independent with before him. Like so I feel like I don't know. Maybe it just seemed like they're
I
never
don't know. You don't know how you would react in anger.
Mhm.
So yes, I would like to think the same thing, but I don't know. I still think he took a gamble. And you could say, oh, what was it that she said? Um, I don't want to start talking about divorce when we're supposed to be loving each other. And I don't when I used to think about um that agreement, a prenup before then, I thought about it like that before, and then I started really thinking about what a prenup is, and I was like, no, that's protecting yourself because you just don't know.
Yeah.
People change in the wrong way, and you don't want to be. glossing over the thing. Oh, everything's gonna be hunky dory. No, it's not, because life doesn't work out like that.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to protect yourself.
Um, and oh yeah, Courtney. Personally, I don't think this book it was a flop at all. I think it was
Yeah.
really
Yeah,
good
it's
book.
not a flop. Not
It
at
is
all.
definitely not a flop.
Not at
People are
all.
only saying that because they have not read the book, and
Mhm.
I have to take into consideration. Like literally, the week after her book came out was Brittany's book, and
Ugh,
that's when people started not talking about Jada into reading Brittany's. But just with Worthy, hands down, this book was not a flop. I I
not
enjoyed
at
it. I'm glad that we actually got some clarity, which that makes sense. Like this was a really good book, and I'm proud of Jada because just putting yourself out there, that's brave and bold, and you become vulnerable.
Mhm.
So I give her all her flowers for that because she didn't have to write this book, and this book necessarily wasn't for us. It was for herself, you know. Um,
And you
and
can't have two people, because he is very much so, even though he's kind of quiet now because of the slap, but his personality is very much so. I'm very much in the limelight, wanting to be in the limelight, where she's like, I'm okay
mhm,
being not so much in the limelight. I'm good that way. But her being good that way, people had their own preconceived notions of who she is.
mhm.
So when this book was coming to be, people were like, oh, da. And I'm like, but you have to read it first, which is why I pre-ordered it.
Right. Like at the end of the day, these people, these two human beings, they still are trying to work out their relationship, their friendship. They're trying to figure it out, and I feel like that's with relationships with even with your mom, your dad, with family members, with whatever. I feel like all of us go through something like this. It may not be in the public eye, but I feel like there are some similarities, especially when
Definitely.
she brought Will to table talk when she told him about the entanglement and he was acting dumb. But in her book, she says that Will and her have said that even when they separated, they promised to let each other in on, in the loop of things and not keep things a secret. Um, so he will let the media made it look like she was the bad person. I don't like,
Yeah, but I also think that it was the way people perceive certain things.
yeah.
So him not dealing with a lot of things that he should be dealing with,
Hmm.
his perceptions of, yes, she told you it was not a secret, but how you internalize that is going to be a different thing.
True. True.
And then you probably feeling embarrassed because the public found out, right?
Right. Yeah. You're,
Mhm.
because
Because your glass house is not so glass.
right. And even in his book, he was all about image as well.
Hmm.
He did
He's
not want.
very much so, more so about image than she is.
Mm-hmm.
Very much so.
Oh, did you see Will flirting with Nia Long? He out here in these streets now. He's always been a flirt. I think. I think Will's always been a flirt. I think California cheaper to keep her state. Uh, I don't know. I don't know.
Mm,
I don't know. That's a good
I
question.
don't know.
I don't have much, but I would never get married without a prenuptial. There is a thin line between love and hate. Remove finances from the divorce so each person can heal and move on.
Yeah, I
I
agree.
think they
I
wouldn't
agree.
divorce just because. I mean, there would be a lot to like. She left the house. She don't even stay. I forget where she lives. They live in two different houses, areas. So it's like,
Mhm.
I mean, it could get bad, but if they got a divorce, but I feel like they kept the separation a secret, and I don't think a divorce. They said they would never get a divorce, and Will said he would never get a divorce again. He said he
Oh
would
yeah,
never that
he
problem.
definitely said that she would have to file, but she she agreed that she wouldn't
Hmm.
do that. But things could have changed.
I mean, yeah, it could. It could.
Because you all got to a separation, so the next step could have easily been divorce.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to watch that his interview with his longtime friend. He confirms the relationship between Will and Dwayne. Mm.
Oh,
I'm gonna have to watch it. Will's done stuff. He's done
I
stuff,
mean,
you know.
I heard about them
Hmm.
before he got with Jada.
Yeah, wasn't it a while? Like it was.
Oh yeah, I heard about that, and I heard that whatchamacallit, the one who played Gina, that
Hmm.
she knew.
Yeah, and she said he knew. And the entanglement was years past by the time of right. Like the entanglement happened prior. It got leaked. I don't know who.
Mm-hmm. Oh
So
yeah, it got leaked. All right. I don't
yeah,
know who
and then
did it
so
either.
Jada was trying to do some damage control, and that's when she brought Will to the tabletop.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's how that. Yeah, uh, yeah. I mean, she mentioned, Jaden moving out to the house at 15. How Trey would give his shoes, like give his shoes away, and he didn't
Give
care.
all his clothes away. Even as a young child, I was like, whoa.
Like okay, like didn't care, and I was like, wow,
Mm-hmm.
that's amazing. Like how I know from what Jaden and Willow have probably said on the table talk. I don't remember how they went through stuff, because of what they saw in the household and some of the stuff, it affected them. Um, and Jada didn't know that certain things about Jaden or Willow. Um,
Can you imagine if they write a book? Lord have mercy.
I'll read it. I'll read it
Mm-hmm.
because as a kid, you probably will see things in a different perspective, a
Mm-hmm.
different light. Um, so I mean, if Trey or Jaden or Willow writes a book, I will definitely read it. For sure. Tasha K is so messy though. Yes, Alcina blabbed about the entanglement. Men are messy. Yes, he did mention that. Yeah, she even said she didn't expect him to be like how he acted or whatever, and how he doesn't like talk to her nothing anymore. But she said she respected it. But he was going through stuff too. I think her and him. I think they had a connection because they both were going through something, and through time of weakness, they just got together a few times. you
And
know,
now he's just with men. Is that right?
I think so. I'm not sure. I don't follow August that much.
I don't. I didn't know who he was until this whole entanglement thing happened. I'm like, who is this guy?
Very talented. His music's pretty good. But, yeah, but he's still going through stuff. Like I think it was him who got pissed because one of the he wore a hat to one of his concerts, and one of the people that went to the concert snatched it, and so he stopped the entire concert saying, "Whoever took my hat better give it back to me." Yeah, I think that was him.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me see. Wait. She said exactly, and I'm here for it. She is the one that broke the R. Kelly story. August leaked it. He was bitter she left him, but it wasn't for her husband. She just didn't want his male ego. Yeah. She's also the one that got sued by Cardi B for being a. Oh, don't she owe her?
Oh, that chick.
Don't she owe her money still? Did she file
Yeah.
bankruptcy because she couldn't pay her?
Mm-hmm. Cardi B said, "I'm getting everything."
Mm-hmm. It was obvious he started talking about it while he was promoting his album. Yeah, he ain't fit for that. Trey giving stuff away, talking about his his boy. Please get your shit back now. Right? He was giving his
Mm-hmm.
stuff away. Yeah, we didn't even talk about how Jaden has been living on his own since. Yeah, I still don't understand. Like what?
Yeah, yeah, I can't imagine.
Like like he left the house at 15.
Hmm.
I don't know how to
But
process.
yet you don't. But yet you don't. She said that he always, oh, I guess, kind of beat of his own drum. He really knows who he is,
Yeah, he's like the cool.
and I was like, you never hear something bad about him, um, in terms of him like wilding or anything like that. So,
Mm-hmm.
what thought would have happened for if you hear about a person 15 or 16 living on their own?
Yeah,
You didn't hear about him.
right. I mean, he did. I can't say he didn't leave the house and be broke because he did, the Karate Kid, um,
Mm-hmm.
all that stuff. So he had money. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, you wanted to leave home, which I understand. Were you seeing stuff too? Like, and is that one of the reasons? Like, did you see something between your mom, between your mom and your dad? Because I mean, I don't know. Because from what I like, from realized, like Trey, she made it seem like he was there all the time, but now I don't think he's there all the time. He's mostly with his mom. So I don't know. Yeah, if the kids write a book, I definitely read it. I will definitely read it.
It'd be very interesting, I bet.
Right. None of them kids would ever be broke. Right. None of them. I think Trey has his own Twitch and stuff too now. So he makes money doing Twitch, play video games. And Willow, she's still doing her music.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I thought she had completely stopped that, but she didn't. She just
Mm-mm.
took a break.
Yeah, she has her she's in a has her band, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's called. Mm. I bet that Jaden leaving home was probably not as seamless as the book stated. Yeah, like I think he left for a for a reason. It wasn't just because he just didn't, he's a free spirit and stuff like that. I think something else was going on, but we'll never know. I don't think the kids would write a book. They don't give that vibe. Yeah, it'd probably be in their art or something where they express.
Mm-hmm.
I felt her when she said she wanted to give her children the dad she didn't have. Yeah, yeah. Because there was times when Will was trying to figure out to be a dad with Trey, for Trey, because
Mm-hmm.
that was one of the reasons why Cherie wanted a divorce. He wasn't present, um, and other things was happening. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I never realized that Willow named after Willow. Yeah, yeah. Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And then like Jaden's middle name is
Yeah, I didn't know Jada. I didn't know that about Jaden. I was like, oh, that's a nice name, Jaden. Had no idea
Mhm.
that's how that came about until I read the book. I was like, oh, I didn't put that together.
Yeah, it's pretty neat though. It's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
As he's always crying over his boyfriend, raising himself at the age of 15 to 16 is a better option than living at home. Absolutely not. All I'm saying is, my kids ain't doing that. No, sorry. I no.
When she said that as a child, he said, "Why do you want to leave me in a place where people don't love me?" And then after that, she homeschooled him. I'm like,
Yeah.
um, okay, that's privilege
Yeah.
because that the average person would be like, you have to go to school. That's it. That's not even a conversation.
Right.
What is this about people loving you at school? They don't have to
And
love
they
you at
don't have
school.
to love you.
You're being loved at home.
Right. And the thing is, the world, there's going to be people that hate you or can't stand you,
Mm-hmm.
that don't like you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that is life.
Yeah, it
It's just,
is.
what do you do with that? You know, like,
Mm-hmm.
how do you live through that? You know? Um,
Exactly.
yeah, that definitely was privilege for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And since she was homeschooling him, she wasn't really acting and stuff like that. I mean, there was gaps with her acting career.
Yeah, but was
Right?
she homeschooling him or was he getting homeschooled by someone who does that?
Mm, I don't know
Because
because
it's not necessarily the parent, especially when they have money that's homeschooling.
that's true. Maybe it was somebody else. Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I have no idea. The kids are grown now. Stop using them as an excuse. I think they should stay together. It works for them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like the slap and stuff and all that. I mean, there was clarification with that with Jada, and she was still in shock and surprise. She mentioned her dress was heavy as hell. Like she couldn't get up if she tried. Um, yeah, like she didn't know.
Again, she's so petite.
Hmm.
When I see her in dresses like that, I'm like, why can't they give her a dress that is not like making her look like she's like on the top, it like tucks her in, and the bottom is like heavy.
Bragging, so she got to pull it
Hmm.
with her.
Yeah, she's so petite. There should be something else that she could wear.
Yeah, I felt the peace when she got her own place. Yeah, I did. I did. I felt the peace too. Elise's completely. Um, for that night with Chris Rock and Will, she didn't know what was going on. But of course, Chris. I mean, with her and Chris Rock, she mentioned they worked together, especially with Madagascar, and stuff like that, and they seem to have
Hmm.
a relationship. And but then that came, you know, that took place. So I don't know. I don't know. Will going through stuff too. So he's definitely still probably going through stuff. And then like how she said when he said wife and he hadn't said that, called her wife in years. I'm like, whoa. But then it's that image thing. The world sees her, as his wife.
Yeah, but you all didn't not denounce. You all didn't say anything against it. You kept on showing up with him to
Yeah.
events. So
Yeah.
why did you continue to um, push the narrative that is not there?
I because from reading it, she wanted to support him no matter what. Even though
Hmm.
she mentions there's been times where she questioned herself if she should go to these events or not, but she did anyway.
Hmm.
Um, she's a ride or die. That's clear as day. At the end of the day, this is their relationship, their marriage, or whatever that they have to go through. Um, we are just the people on the outside looking in. um, I do hope that they both get healing, uh,
Yeah,
and and figure things out. I really do hope for that for them.
yeah,
Because Will, I hope he addresses things. I mean, he wrote his book, but then I don't think he's fully healed.
he definitely has not.
No,
Clearly,
yeah, because his book
the,
was
the book was done before the slap.
right.
So,
Mm-hmm. Um, like towards the end of his book, it seemed like he was on this journey, and a journey can take years,
hmm.
just like it takes years and stuff for you to realize all the stuff you did in the past was problematic and toxic. Um, but I'm glad Jada is acknowledging stuff that she denied in the past.
Mm-hmm.
I really hope the best for her, though. I really do. I mean, I hope for the best for Will. They've both been through stuff. Now they're at the process of where do they go from here.
Mm-hmm.
Because
She said they're still working on it.
mm-hmm, and that is completely fine. If you need to work on it for years and years,
Mm-hmm.
do it. Try. That way you say, if they do end up divorcing, they can at least admit that they've really tried.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I don't know. I think what Will has done too, I feel like he's found ways to cover up his stuff.
Oh yeah, because him is it's an image thing.
Mm-hmm. So he's like,
It's
there is
very
not.
much so an image thing.
Mm-hmm. I think they're looking like a hot mess right now because everyone is in their business. Once everything gets aired out, people will get bored and move on. Yeah. Which is
Until the next hotness.
right.
That's how it works.
Yeah. I hope nothing else happens. You know?
I mean, in terms of another couple or another person, you
Yeah.
know.
I mean, I don't know. If they did get divorced, we'll probably won't know until years later. Because we didn't know about separation until recently.
Well, it's different because you actually have to file that with the court.
Oh
So,
yeah, so that's going to be public record.
because that's how we found out about Jeezy. He had
Yeah.
filed it all the way in May, and she didn't know until everybody else in August. I was like, damn.
Yeah, Jeezy, I have some questions about him, especially with the interview with Nia Long.
Yes. Oh my
I
God.
have
I
questions,
was like, huh, really?
especially towards the end. You're saying this now. You didn't say this before. Like some stuff I found very interesting. Very.
Yeah.
Something that stuck out too was the reality of making it still not being enough to take care of everyone. Yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's true. They pushed the narrative because they were successful business partners. She supported her family and their business. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
she was. She was. Even like she didn't, like you say, Adrian, she did not mind to not be in the spotlight. She let Will do it. You know, and it seemed like trying to push her to be that though, but that's not her. I'm like, do you really know the person you married? You know, it seemed like they dated. They seemed like they didn't date that long to actually get to know one another. Because Will was still going through stuff mentally with his previous divorce.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't take that time to heal prior to being in a relationship with Jada at all.
Yeah. They definitely had a sexual relationship more so than anything else beforehand.
Mm-hmm. Right. So I don't know. Jeezy has a book, but I don't know if it was about the divorce. No, he did. I heard that he didn't mention anything about the divorce.
Oh no, I read the book. He did not, and that book was really an how-to business thing from the streets to legitimacy.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
Um.
he didn't even mention his wife in it.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. Because Keandre read it, and he's like, the first half of the book he already knew about him. He wanted to read
Mm-hmm.
about everything else of how he got out, what he did, all that.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't really care about what he did in the streets, whatever, because he knew.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of speculations with his wife saying that she cheated on him or whatever. I honestly don't know. I mean, I was still surprised. Like, I didn't even know they were dating, him him and his wife at the time. Like I didn't know until
They were really good friends, and then it changed to something else. So I'm
yeah.
like, if this was somebody who you called your best friend, how can you how did it go wrong?
Hmm.
What is it that you were ignoring?
Yeah. Yeah. Even if Will makes a film, he won't be able to attend the Oscars. Yeah, yeah. He has to live with it. I mean, he made an action. He gotta, you know, deal with the
Hmm.
consequences. You know,
Hmm.
he just spent more time flirting with me along the answering questions. Shoot your shot, snowman. Yeah, he was being a flirt. Definitely was.
Hmm.
You don't really ever know someone fully. Yeah, that's true. I saw
Yeah.
Jesus in the library was like pass, but he's a cutie though. Yeah, he is cute. I'll give him that. He is cute. Oh, he didn't even mention. I mean, yeah, bro was prepping. I bet he planned the divorce papers for publicity for his book. Ugh,
Hmm. Yeah, it said that she was completely caught off guard, and she doesn't want the divorce. But yeah, he's like, they went when he was talking to Nia Long. He's like, we went to therapy. I'm like, doesn't sound like y'all went to therapy.
yeah. He mentioned my wife just once, not by name. Hmm. Interesting. Hmm. I don't know. All that with the divorce and stuff for publicity. There's so much stuff going on. You got
Hmm.
uh Krishan attacking one of Tamar's back background singers at her concert.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, what in the world is wrong?
And I'm like, girl, you know you can go to jail for that. You go to jail for that. For assault. And I'm like, what? It's just a lot. Like, that's why like I'm glad I'm not rich. I'm glad I'm not famous. I don't want that spotlight on me. I'm sorry. I don't want that attention on me. I don't. It's too messy. It's just too like like
Some
if
of
some
these people were messy beforehand. It
yeah,
just becomes more amplified with the money.
right, right. It's just yeah. If you can still be rich and famous, or but still keep your stuff private, maybe
Hmm.
I don't recommend. Like I can't imagine. Like
I mean, because when you think about the couples who have been together for a long time,
mm-hmm,
because even with all the stuff that happened with Bill Cosby, you
mm,
heard rumors about him in some certain ways, but you never once saw his wife say something or anybody say anything until all these cases started coming up.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. She don't care. I'm so mad at Krishan right now. I live her messiness, but unprovoked assault is going too far. I'm like, girl, you could literally press charges on
Hmm. And she didn't slap him; she punched him in the face. I'm like,
you. Yeah,
why would you do
like
that?
his tooth. I think she had
Oh,
rings on,
yes, crazy.
and like yeah, she deactivated all her social media. I guess I don't know. I don't know.
Probably with all the negative press, because I can't imagine that it was positive after that.
Yeah, positive or negative attention is still attention for celebrities. Yeah, that's true. But overall, I liked Worthy. Um, I liked the journey we were going through with Jada, as from the beginning to her childhood, to talk about her depression, to the end of her, and like to the end to the point where she's talking about Will and their relationship and what they're working on right now. So I enjoyed it. I don't think it was a flop. Well, again, I
Not
didn't
at
rate
all.
it because it's a memoir. I don't really rate memoirs, but I really enjoyed the book. I really did. And like I said during the
Mhm.
live,
When I finish it, I will. And I only have, yeah, I don't have that much to go. I'll rate it, but it will not be a 2-star read for me. It'll be much higher than that.
yeah, like I enjoyed it.
Hmm. Very glad that I pre-ordered it. It's definitely a tabulicious read.
Yeah, like I've said sorry so many times. Like I said, I'm so sorry, Jada. Nothing is what it seems, and I'm happy that you're sharing your story. Like, like I said, I'm sorry. You know, I am sorry for let it like make it like seeming like you really did this. You didn't stand up for your man, but then you've always been there for him.
Hmm.
But you can't always take the fall for him, which she didn't. You know what I mean? People made it seem like she was the reason for the slap or whatever. But she mentions he's his own person. He's a grown man. It's not like she told him to go up there and do it.
As I was about to say, she didn't tell him to get up there.
Mm-hmm. He did that with his own will. You know,
Hmm.
people look tell her say about like how she stared at him and that made him do it. No, no, she was just annoyed. With Chris and his jokes. Because he's been doing it for years.
Hmm. Yeah, because it's not the first time he's. I was saying he's picks on her before.
Right. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
And I just said he was being nasty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I really enjoyed where they still think the family is weird. They're all different.
Are they alone in their weirdness? No,
Yeah.
I guarantee you that. It's just that they just happen to be on public display.
Right.
Lack
Right.
of better words. Yeah. So you
Mm-hmm.
know about their weirdness, some of their weirdness, because I bet you we don't know all of it.
No, we don't know all of it.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, yeah. Krishan broke Michael's nose.
Whoa. Oh, that's an assault charge.
Yeah, and she just had a baby, and she's I
Hmm.
supposedly pregnant again. But then again, I'm like, wait, I don't think she said she was pregnant again, but she was drinking and stuff. So I don't know. Either way, I feel like yeah, really people could come for you. Like you go to prison
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
you people really could come for you and you lose custody of your baby.
Uh-huh.
And I think that's why she's like deactivated her social media. But people were saying like, "Girl, deactivated today, but we'll see you tomorrow," because she lives on social media. Like that's how she makes her money.
Oh, okay. I'm not a follower of hers. I just see pictures of her and I'm like, who is this person?
Yeah, because Tay Mariman, she just announced it today. Like, yeah, I invited her, but I don't condone violence. None of that. I looked at her like as a little sister to try to guide her. Um, but I didn't expect her, I didn't ask her to perform or nothing.
Wow.
So, yeah, I don't know. Krishan has a lot of growing up to do, like a lot to do.
Hmm.
She's all over the place, all over. But yeah, I can't think of anything else to mention in this book. I feel like we touched on most of the things in this book. I feel I can't think of anything else that we missed. If we missed anything,
Courtney, I know that you talked about this book a couple of weeks ago. Is there something that you wanted to add?
yeah, definitely, Courtney. I'd love to hear your perspective. But yeah,
I can't believe she broke the guy's nose. Because
yeah,
I've seen him I thought he was a stylist. I'm trying to remember
I
what he
think she's a,
does.
I think he was. I remember seeing him in one of her shows, the Braxtons or whatever,
Mhm.
when they were still doing that. And I think he was her stylist, did her hair and stuff like that. But he could sing too, I believe.
Oh, okay.
I think I could be wrong. I don't
Mm-hmm.
think she's pregnant. She was just saying that after Blueface got engaged, her attorney probably told her to shut down her socials. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Because their handlers will take over and be like, "Look, this is
Hmm.
what you need to do."
Yeah.
That's why you pay them the big bucks so they can try to work up your image.
Right. No, you have touched on the main stuff. It was a great book. I wish Jada well. Yeah, me too.
Mm-hmm.
Me
Yeah, I
too.
do too.
I miss Brie, Adrian Brandy. I feel like it's been a while since we had a spread. Like we probably spoiled me. Oh, sorry, y'all. Okay. Trying to think a good time because I work throughout the whole week, so it's hard. But if there's sprints, I'll definitely post it in advance so everybody will know. There won't be any impromptus. I promise. Oh man, maybe.
And I still haven't set up my own yet because I'm doing some things in the house, so I can't
Yeah,
say for certain. This is the time that I can do it.
yeah. Maybe Wednesday, Wednesday night. Maybe I'll do some sprints Wednesday night. Maybe I'll do that. If no one else is having sprints. Yeah, because she kept saying they were clout chasing. These people have been known years before blue cheese, blue cheese was ever thought.
Not blue cheese.
Oh
That's a
man.
good one.
I'd be looking for you and Bree. I'd be stalking y'all's channel thinking I missed them. Oh, you have it. I promise. You have it. Oh yeah.
Oh,
So
that's
I'm
great.
I'm looking at my schedule now. Hold on now. Oh, think maybe. Or how about not Wednesday night? It would be. Oh, hold on. Before I say anything, I need to make sure because I believe Bree is having her discussion. Yeah.
So she
So
had a discussion about her book already. Oh, no, 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 no. You're
for
talking
Octavia,
about
yeah, for Octavia, that's going to be on
yes.
the 8th at 8. So maybe yo, I could do Saturday night. How about Saturday night? We do a sprint. We do some reading sprints. Bring some wine or whatever. You know what? We'll have some sprints on Wednesday. So on not Wednesday, excuse me, Saturday night. Saturday night, y'all. We'll have sprints Saturday night. I promise you, Blue Cheese is growing out of his stuff the way he puts it and everything. Oh God. Oh. Oh gosh. Oh,
Woo!
that was being messy.
Man, listen.
Oh, Bree, please. Please, Bree, you're good. But yeah, we'll have sprints Saturday night for sure. Like I said, if you want to sip on some wine or whatever it is, you are welcome to do so. Definitely gonna be sprinting for sure. I feel like since I've been sick for the past week, I haven't been really reading as much as I want to. So, but
I don't know what happened. Maybe I went into a little bit of a slump. I was like, I haven't read in 3 days. What in the world? And I said, no, I'm picking this up. So I picked up J Legacy, and then I had texted you last night because I was like, wait a minute, did I see the thing for Worthy for tomorrow? I'm like, well, I got to put that down and pick up Worthy.
yeah, yeah.
Then I was like, I'm back in my role again. reading multiple books at the same time. I'm like, all right,
Yeah, I felt
you
like I
got
was in
this
the
full of
slump
things.
a little bit too, and then I was trying to get the ball rolling just recently. So I'm reading Hurricane Wars, and then I'm trying to also read Let Us Descend by Jasmine Ward.
Yes, I'm seeing that all over TikTok now.
Hmm. So, but I feel like Black Queen got me to something because we were reading so much.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute. Oh, and I am never reading one of those books again. That book was terrible.
Which one?
The
Which one?
the uh the cozy. I was like, what the hell is
Oh,
this?
yeah,
I was like, I'm glad I tried it, but I was like, oh no,
yeah. Cozy's
it's
a.
bad.
I tried it too. Cozy's. It was. It's not meant for me. But for other
No,
people, that's good. I'm glad
I'm
there
happy for y'all, but it's not my ministry. Okay.
it doesn't work for
It's like,
me.
what is this?
I read the book and I liked it for what it was, but it's like in my soul, it's like this is not for me, y'all.
Hmm.
I had a big slump after reading so much for Black Queen. Yeah. I'm putting y'all all on notice. Expect several instas letting you all know we must get back on track. Right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, yes,
Yes,
please.
ma'am.
Like I'm like this
Yes,
is
ma'am.
much
I hear
talking
you.
and I'm having a slump now. Like dang.
No, no.
Read
So
Let Us
we almost to the end of the year. I cannot just read on the 31st of December. I got to read way before that.
Right. I still need some books I need to read.
Mm-mm.
Read
And what
Let
is it, this week or next week that the list comes out? Even though I'm like, one day I'm gonna create my own list. Um, the Goodreads list.
Oh yeah.
That's it. Never really has all the books that I'm looking for.
Mm-hmm. That would be a nice little discussion to have if we did a live and we talk about the books. Because when is it? It's tomorrow though, right? Is it tomorrow when they list the
Is
books?
it tomorrow? Because I know some people posted some videos of what they think is going to look like. So I think it is this week.
Okay. Because we can just go through it and be like, am I gonna vote for this or this?
Or we could still do that.
Yeah.
It might be even funnier over some glasses of wine on Saturday.
Oh yeah. Right. We can always we can do that Saturday. We can still do sprints, but beginning we could do the Goodreads stuff, and then after that we could do some sprints. So maybe
Hmm.
so yeah. So maybe we could do that on Saturday night. Do the Goodreads thing and then go from there. Adrian say not my ministry.
It's not.
Oh
It's not. I tried. I can say that I tried it because I was like, I don't know. I
god.
tried it. I know that is not for me.
At least
For
it's like
those of you who enjoy it, I'm happy for you.
right.
Not for me.
At least he's asked you. You couldn't get down with the stupid cute.
Nah, I tried. I was like, this is so boring. Oh my god.
Yeah, it just I'm like, is it gonna come on? I need you to keep going. It was
And I'm like, I need you to pick up.
I'm like, this is I was the speed was faster than normal too. I'm like, oh, like this is not for me. I'm sorry.
Mm,
I'm gonna start the reformatory this week. Cozy and Romance are audiobook only for me. They can get my they can get my eyeballs.
Oh,
Oh,
I did it by audiobook. I was like,
I did the
oh
audiobook too.
god. If I was doing this physically, I would have DNF'd.
Yeah, yeah.
Easy.
But I have the reformatory. That's probably gonna be my book that I read next month. Next month,
Mm.
grind time. Like all the books
Mhm.
that I'm gonna read before the end of the year.
Mhm. I'm gonna
Pat, no, I
have
forgot. They'll
the
probably be.
audiobook for that.
I'll read that next month. I've heard bad things already, so we'll see what happens with that one. We'll see.
I haven't heard bad things, but I loved the first book.
Hmm.
I've been seeing people that I know and people that I don't know on TikTok showing their live reactions and enjoying it. So I'm like, that's okay. But Adrian has 3 pages of splotches on her pre-order.
You do? Where'd you pre-order it from?
Mhm.
Amazon?
Amazon.
Yeah, I've
And this
heard a
has
lot
never
of.
happened before.
I've heard
So
issues with Amazon.
1, 2. Can you
Oh
see?
my god.
And then 4, which is not so bad.
Oh, and I heard that that's the Italian edition. It's
Hmm.
like if you go to the first page where it says it was printed, what does it say?
Oh, mine was in Italy. That
Oh,
would be why. They said the American ones were not like that. But
yeah,
at least my spine says the right book. There was
yeah,
one person who had her whole thing was blank. Her whole thing was blank. Mine
yeah.
says the correct book.
Mhm.
And the other person I saw, this was up here.
Yep.
It's blank. I'm like, did no one check? And then the maps were all wrong. I'm like, I don't have that issue. And they had pages that were wrong. I said, I tried to flip through everything and it looks like everything looks like it's supposed to.
Yeah, I was nervous because I I did on TikTok. I'm like, for some reason my intuition. I don't know why I did this, but I felt like somebody is gonna mess up with the print because for how long they're trying to they push this and this and this. They only have a select amount of editions that's going to be with the black edges. Plus, they
Mm-hmm.
just announced the new edition for the first book, so they're going to try to push it fast without really checking on them. So I had pre-ordered three. like I saw,
Oh,
like, I'm like, yeah, we can't have this. No, pages were
and it's
missing.
funny because I saw a few people. They were like, I went to Barnes and Noble and got my other books, and yes, I did pre-order. Okay.
Yeah. Mhm. Wow. Slow stuff, but pushed through Jira. I heard Iron Flame is heavy on the world building. I think I will like it more. I haven't opened my Amazon pre-order yet. Yikes. Uh, you want to open it?
I opened it immediately so I can see whether or not it was something I can live with, and I was like, as a rule, Adrian hates returning stuff, but I was like, if it had the pages were wrong, that was a definite return.
Hmm.
That was a definite return because I can't read the book. But I didn't have any of those issues, thank goodness. The splotches I could work with
Yeah, I didn't order
because
from.
I have the audiobook too, so do both.
Yeah, I was able to get the audio and Libby, so but I was like, that's crazy. And these are limited print editions. You can't get those. You can't get them anymore.
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
But I told myself for the other two, I'll put them on Pango for the price that they're as listed on the book. I'm not going to be putting it for 150 or 200 like these other crazy people. I'm like, no, just list it. I'll probably get like $20 or whatever, something, whatever, because I was
Mhm.
free. Oh no, I'll save it for next month. I didn't even check my copy. I was going to return it. Oh, okay.
So I know there's a controversy about her because of um, supposedly statements that she made
I saw that.
regarding
I was at work.
Palestine. But what I saw was not controversial.
But what was it?
And
Work, I saw it, but I had to go back to work when I was on break. So what happened?
what I saw was just her saying that she's not well versed in um, the conflict.
Hmm.
And what was it? Something about that children are not expendable, something like that. But I didn't understand what the issue is. I've heard people talk about the issue, but
Hmm.
I also think, okay, I keep on telling you all, I'm a woman of a certain age. A lot of the people that I see talking about this are younger people. When I say younger, in their 20s.
Mm-hmm.
And this generation, to me, is very, very quick to dismiss people without giving them grace. Now, when I say that, I don't mean if somebody outright was like, they're not they're not causing, um, Israel's not causing genocide. Clearly, they are.
Mm-hmm.
Um, with what I'm seeing, that's not what she said. She did
Mm-hmm.
not say that. So you have to give to me. You have to give the person some type of grace as they try to analyze it, because as she said, I'm not versed in it. Most people, to me, most Americans are not versed in it. And for you to act like you are, just because you've seen some quips about what's going on, does not mean that you're well versed in it.
Mm-hmm.
So I
That
just
is
think that we have to give people some grace, unless they're outright just saying something that's just
like
flabbergastingly awful. This is
yeah.
not the same thing as J.K. Rowling. This is not the same thing.
Okay. I was
Thank
like,
you, Tara.
to that degree, I was
I'm
like,
trying to choose my words wisely, but I mean what I say. We just have to be careful with doing that.
yeah.
We quickly dismiss people without giving them grace, and that's not fair.
Mm,
This is not J.K. Rowling, and keep on saying that.
mm,
What she's done and continues to do is completely wrong.
yeah. 100%. MP in Britain has been sacked because of things she said about it yesterday in UK. Huh.
Hmm.
Like I don't know what she said. Like I'm just in the dark. I don't know. Like I saw like a clip, but it wasn't. I didn't understand it because it wasn't the full thing.
Yeah, it
So I don't.
wasn't. It was literally as we're both saying quips, and I'm like, I'm old enough to know I'm not going to get enough information like that. I need to see the entire transcript, so to speak. If
Yeah.
I don't have that, don't come to me with that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I need the full clip if I can. But I mean, I'm gonna read it, see what's it about.
Hmm.
You know, I like a good world building
I
book.
mean, I was well invested, especially after the last line. I was like, where is my second book?
I don't even know who people are. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, I don't know. I was just confused. I was at work on my 15-minute break, and I was like, "Wait, what?" And then I was like, "What?" It was just a small clip, and then I was like, "Would you?" I must have missed it. I don't know. So I
Yeah.
I have no idea. But
And people are like, that's why her books came out badly. I'm like, if that makes you sleep better at night saying that, then that's fine. But, you know, I'm
mm,
sure she feels badly about that. That's not her fault. She doesn't print the books.
no. And to be honest, maybe her marketing team might look at that and might do another run or reprint, and
Mhm.
whoever probably puts in a ticket or something, they can get their books returned and get a better one. So who knows?
Mhm.
I feel like our marketing team is on it probably because I'm sure they've gotten it from TikTok and all that about
Mhm.
their books being messed up.
Yeah, people have put up plenty of videos. I didn't even bother to do it because I was like, it's too many people, and some people's books definitely look worse than mine. It's
Hmm.
just those 3 pages.
Yeah, but, but yeah, let me see. Movies about her songs, Songbirds and Snakes come out Friday. I haven't read the book. I haven't heard good things. So I like the book, but I don't know much about the movie. Um,
Hmm.
I know Viola Davis is in it.
Oh, well,
So
you see, that's all we need to know.
right. I just know that snippet.
Still one of the best memoirs I have ever read in my life.
You you have direct debit, you can punch for gas/electric, but it's not prepaid. Mm. Mm. Yeah. So wait, hold on, I missed it. It says, "What is MP?" Also, I heard you all prepay for your gas, electric. Is that true? Okay, got you. Oh man, but I think that's it. Um, like I said, we'll have some reading sprints on Saturday and might look at Goodreads and see what's going on there. Just to see. Um, but thank you all for coming. I miss y'all. It seems like forever. And I'm sorry. I literally am just now getting better because I've been sick
Oh,
since
that's good.
since last Tuesday.
Oh no,
Like it was bad.
that change of weather.
Yes, and it constantly is changing. So 1 minute it's really warm, then it gets super cold. It's just ridiculous. I'm like, just be cold. Just be cold, okay? Just be cold. But thank you all for coming. Have a good night, and I will catch y'all later. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Night.
Great